Biopiracy started with WTO under TRIPS regime, trade related intellectual property rights protection. This was the rules of under WTO from 92 onwards. So WTO, especially TRIPS, under this was that exclusive marketing rights by certain companies was given by TRIPS, and this clause actually overrided and superseded the sovereignty rights of the country, of national government and the people. Although the biodiversity convention on biological diversity (CBD) of Johannesburg and previously in Rio article, that categorically says that the biodiversity of a country, including the varieties of crops, are the sovereign rights of the people of that country, and the government's right, the government's duty and responsibility is to protect the sovereignty rights of the people over their own resources. But WTO supersedes that, saying that the companies can patent on specific properties and also the varieties or even plants themselves, or the genes, germ lines, cell lines, everything can be patented unless it is produced by using normal biological processes. So normal biological processes means sexual reproduction, asexual, vegetative reproduction, but non-normal biological process means transgenics, tissue culture, or that is these are called biotechnology. So biotechnological means of production is novel techniques. Whatever can be produced by non-conventional biological process can be patented. So that includes all GMOs, genetically modified organisms. So that's how the patent regime was established in this. And then the first patenting on Indian materials was neem. So Bright Agrochemical and many other companies in Germany and USA, they started claiming patents on one after another. So my own estimate that was also published was 160 patents on Indian crops and plants, I mean different kinds of plants, not just crops. So that included neem, basmati rice, turmeric, that is haldi, black pepper, all these, jackfruit, everything. Yeah, long time back. So that is biopiracy, claiming that we invented this property, we discovered this property or we invented this, just like basmati rice that was patented in 95. In 93, this first patent was on neem leaf, hot water extract of neem leaf, and that was discovered as a great discovery, and they patented it. As a neem seed powder, it was patented, and so on and so forth. So the first legal battle against this biopiracy was on basmati, then against one patent on turmeric, haldi, and another patent on neem oil, fungicidal property of neem oil. So basmati patent was fought by India government and Pakistani government. Both government lost in the battle because the rice tech companies proved that there was no documentation of basmati rice property, that basmati leaf length is this, leaf width is this, or this is the plant height, or this is the grain length or grain length elongation. There was no record by any publication which says that basmati has these properties. So rice tech claimed that we have documented all of this and this is our invention. It's not basmati of India or Pakistan, it's our. So they named it rice tech, Texmati. Rice tech is the name of the company, so they called it Texmati. So, and the patent still held, patent is not withdrawn. The only reason that basmati patent is not in vogue, or the farmers don't have to pay this royalty, is that basmati exporters and importers, they refuse to take rice tech's patented rice. So the importers of England or the exporters of Iran of basmati rice, they refused to take rice tax basmati. They said that we will always prefer, we will always buy Pakistan's basmati or India's basmati, that is real basmati. So it was the trade related issue, but the patent is still held because neither Indian government nor Pakistan government, despite the existence of 19 national agriculture universities, none of these scientists or agriculture students ever documented this rice basmati thing. That's the reason I first made this in the world's first documentation of traditional varieties, 418 varieties of rice, 35 characters of each, characterized over 5 years, and then published it and copyrighted in the name of farmers. So that even if I die tomorrow, the copyright will be held by all these thousands of farmers who are growing it. So I don't own it, I am only the author, but the copyright is held, and that will prevent biopiracy patenting by anyone. And this has actually prevented patenting of several rice varieties from Bengal, because this is mostly from Bengal. There are some varieties from Maharashtra, 6 varieties from Maharashtra, 20 from Odisha, and so on and so forth, Assam, etc. But majority is from Bengal, because that's where I started working. But that has prevented patent application. The patent application is rejected based on the publication of this. So the people who are actually making this kind of making money out of selling organic rice, etc., etc., they don't know that they are capable of doing this because of this book. Otherwise, they would be legally prevented from doing this. So that's one reason. But this is only 400 varieties, and our estimate, my estimate is about 7,000 varieties are still remaining in India. And so in order to prevent this biopiracy, we have to prevent, either we have to reject WTO altogether, which is not possible for us. None of these activists can do that, because it's an international scenario and everyone has accepted, whether it is Modi or Chidambaram or whatever, it does not matter. It's been accepted, and India is a signatory country, and being a signatory you cannot refuse it nationally. So it's up to the farmers. So if the farmer says that I don't care for you, whatever you have signed, I am not going to give, that's one. So that requires a mass movement, and none of our organization is in a position to catapult this movement into this kind of some kind of August Kranti type of movement, that the whole nation will rise, because majority of the people are illiterate. I am not saying just illiterate, not in the sense of signing letters, but ecologically illiterate, environmentally illiterate, biodiversity wise illiterate, including all the university professors and bureaucrats. They simply don't know what the meaning of biodiversity is. They don't know what is genetic diversity, they don't know about this, right? They don't even know that there are so many varieties of rice in the first place. So how can we expect any of these people to shout for the right of farmers? And the farmers themselves are not aware of their own rights. They simply are aware about this profit. How many quintals, how many tons, and what is the market price. Beyond that, they don't bother. So in this situation, it's a dream, just daydream, to say that all these farmers will rise in arms against WTO. It's not practical. So the only practicable answer is that we have to use the systems machinery to defend against the system's onslaught. So one onslaught is this patent mechanism, and patent law says that if you have a prior public document, you cannot patent it. So this is one prior public document. Okay, so this is one prior public document which will prevent patenting, any kind of patenting on any of these varieties, on any of the properties that is documented here. Okay, and because it is patented, and the main reason that I published in English is because it is again conforming to the WTO's own requirement. WTO says that you cannot accept any documentation as a prior public art unless it is written or published in one of six languages: English, French, German, Italian, Russian, Portuguese. Beyond these 6 languages, whether it is Sanskrit or Swahili or Bengali or Marathi doesn't matter. They don't exist. Okay. Only these 6 European languages. So that's the reason this was preventive. And this is the same reason why one of the other patents, neem, and that was one patent on basmati was fought by India government, Pakistan government. Another patent was on turmeric, haldi, and haldi was fought again by India government at the behest of Dr. Mashelkar of CSIR, and Mashelkar also fought against it. He proved that the property of wound healing property of turmeric was already published in this, and he saw this showed this publication, presented this publication in English, so it was accepted. But for neem oil, there was another patent on neem oil property of fungicide, fungicidal property. So Vandana Shiva and myself and Pushpa Bhargav and many others, we fought. I personally paid 20,000 rupees for that. Okay. And finally it was won because we had a translation, English translation of Sushruta Sanghita, Charaka Sanghita. Sushruta is surgery. Charaka Sanghita, which describes clearly how these fungicidal actions are. So we produced, then it was accepted by European Patent Office, and European Patent Office admitted, yes, it's a case of theft. It's a theft of the intellectual property rights of India's traditional knowledge system. So it was withdrawn. So this was not government's fight, it was individual organizations and individuals battle, but we fought it. So, and I am not going anyway. So this is how we have to fight. We have to prove to this WTO, we have to pay to the WTO office, we had to pay to their own legal system, we had to pay fees to the European lawyers in their own court of law for fighting our own thing, and when we won the battle, we didn't get back any money. Neem was there and neem is still there, but in the middle I have lost 20,000, Vandana Shiva has lost 100,000, whatever. But the main point was that we were capable of producing a valid document proving this. So until you prove this valid documentation or prior art, you cannot prevent any biopiracy. That was the main thing, main reason why PPBFR Act was brought in. But PPBFR Act, the main reason of PPBFR Act was to give breeders' rights, not farmers' rights. Breeders' rights is like Khobragade. Khobragade has developed one particular variety, he was a breeder. Okay. So he needed this kind of protection against piracy. Or this Kudrati variety, is that his name? Yeah. So these type of farmers who are breeding new varieties, they needed protection, and this kind of protection is already there in European Patent Office, European law. This is called UPOV. European Union always obeys this. So UPOV is for breeders' rights. So under WTO agreement, India was mandated to develop and produce a similar act like UPOV to protect the breeders' rights, and in this case breeders means corporate breeders, not Khobragade. So it could be Monsanto, it could be Mexico, whatever. So in order to do that, they drafted this PPBFRA, but the name was Plant Varieties and Farmers' Rights Protection, and because it was farmers' rights, then we shouted, Vandana Shiva, Pushpa Bhargav, myself and DDS, I mean Satish and Gene Campaign. So primarily these 6-7 organizations, individuals, we suggested that you are mentioning its plant varieties and farmers' rights protection, but you are actually protecting breeders' rights. Where are the farmers? So you are sequestering these, and how about the farmers who are not breeders? Then they had to include this farmers' rights clause in that act. So that was how this was born, and then they actually made this kind of state-wise public hearing. And in West Bengal, myself and Ashish Ghosh, Samar Bagji, these 3 people, we shouted against this vehemently, and we chipped in this. We had this interaction about the right of farmers to grow and exchange and sell these varieties for free. no restriction at contribution, and it was accepted, and then it was chipped in this Farmers' Rights Act. So, Farmers' Rights Act, I mean PPVFR as it stands, does not prevent any farmer from growing any variety. Every farmer is free to grow, sell, exchange, donate, consume, use, everything, process, every folk variety, farmer's variety, unless it is sold in a branded name. So, where is the patenting? No scope of intellectual property rights at all. So, that was the origin. That was in order to prevent biopiracy patenting by any company or individual, so that it is recorded, registered as a prior art, that is it. So, once it is prior art, once you get this registration in whatever name, okay, whether it is Debal Dev's name or Basudha's name or some other forum's name, the variety is registered. That means, and variety registered means with DUS characters, the distinct 52 characters. And again, because of my protest, now the DUS character is now being characterized by two rice nodal centers. One is CRRI in Cuttack, another is DRR in Hyderabad. These two organizations are making all these kind of characterization in the name of farmers, because it is their duty. So, now the farmers do not have to bother about this. So, farmer have to submit this. My concern was what happens to the seed samples that is given to the, that is why I wanted to explore. So, instead of shouting in a corner of a room, I participated in this process and I explored this, and then I detected where it is going. Without having done this, I couldn't have any idea about this. So, why 5 samples? Earlier it was 3 samples, 3 packets, sample packets. Now it is 5 packets, but there are only 2 centers and only 1 center is allowed. Then where does these 4 samples go? That was my biggest question, and now they are answerable. Now they are still, now I am still waiting, and I said that I have given this ultimatum, failing which I am going to sue them in a court of law with the IPR and what is that, Right to Information Act, and they have to answer this. And there was a hint of this, this probably goes in a backdoor way to Monsanto or whatever, or Syngenta. So, we can prevent that, but unless you do this, you can, it is all happenstance and guesswork and all of this, and they will always deny. You can always accuse and they will always deny. No, it never goes. So, similarly with this kind of fees, the law says there should be no fees to the farmers. So, after this protest, even this court affidavit was withdrawn. So, these are all illegal, but protesting against without protesting, we are just saying that there should be no IPR is non sequitur. It is actually misleading the whole movement. So, anyway, the biopiracy is that it is patenting or claiming exclusive marketing rights or wielding exclusive rights or marketing commercial rights by one individual or a company. That is biopiracy. That came in place only after WTO or TRIPS, not before that. So, when CRRA was established or when Rich Area was working, there was no biopiracy at that time. That was a different thing. The objective was to make all the farmers dependent on the seed supply, commercial seed supply, and that is exactly what has happened. So, as long as the farmers have their own varieties in their own hands, the ancestral varieties, the heirloom varieties, there was no necessity of any purchase of any seeds on the market. The seed marketing of seeds happened only after the Green Revolution. Until 1960s, there was no seed market. Nobody was able to buy or sell seeds on the market. Rice was always available on market as food, but seed was always exchanged. Seeds were never marketed. I mean, if at all, it could be individual to individual. I might sell you some seeds and in exchange of 500 rupees, I can sell to him at 5 rupees. It's my choice. It's not a market determined price. So, if the buyer refuses to buy, there could be haggling, why 5 rupees, why not 4 rupees, like that. But market determined price by a centralized seed industry, that happened only after the 1960s. And along with this, I mean, with the introduction of this seed supply by a handful of seed companies, Now this, there are many consequences. First of all, once these farmers got into the habit of buying seeds, they did not need keeping the knowledge of how to keep the seeds, how to store seeds, because they know we will go to the market and buy the seeds. So conservation is not necessary, seed storage technology is not necessary. So whether I store it in plastic bags or gunny bags or earthen pots, does not matter, because next year if it is rotten, next year I will buy in the market. This is the one. So all this knowledge system is lost. The second is that with this, people have got into the habit of forgetting the utility of the seeds, the practical utility of the seeds, that is appropriateness to any particular farm, whether it is lowland farm or upland farm, it does not matter. We will go to the market and ask for this, this kind of, I have this, we have this irrigated farm. And agricultural modernization always saw to it that you have to make use of those seeds, and in order to grow the seeds, you have to make enough irrigation. So irrigation package should come. Along with that, you have to make this fertilizer packet and pesticide packet. So it's all is called mini kit. It's a kit. So fertilizer, pesticide, and irrigation package, and the seed, of course. So these 4 components constitute a mini kit. That's why people, even the farmers, call it mini kit variety. Mini kit is not the name of variety. Okay. Mini kit is the whole package, and now the farmer himself is a part of this package. Okay. So, and that's how the whole packaging of commercialization of seeds, commercialization of the utility of the seeds, commercialization of the knowledge of the seeds, and the techniques of farming are all demolished. Have demolished the entire sovereignty rights of farmers and the knowledge systems of the farmers, traditional knowledge systems, everything. So now farmers are honed into developing a system where they can earn more, make profit, nothing else. So it does not matter with the nutritional value, does not matter with taste, aroma, quality, appropriateness to the soil, adaptivity to climate, does not matter. Anything, the ultimate question is, what is the market price? How do we sell it? So this is exactly opposite to what is still now going on in the tribal pockets, including in Odisha, in southern Odisha. So nobody asks a single question about yield or market price of anything. They are so happy with these varieties. So in Karnataka, for example, in the tribal areas, in Ratnagiri area of Maharashtra, in Chhattisgarh, large part of southern Chhattisgarh, eastern Chhattisgarh, southern Odisha, and eastern Andhra Pradesh, these are all still now, they simply do not give a damn for any of these marketing machinery or yield component or whatever. They are happy because they know that this variety is the only variety which will grow on this dry land where there is no irrigation. So I do not care whether that variety grows 5 ton there or 6 ton there. Here it will not grow, it will be 0. So whether it is IR36 or Lolat, it will not grow here. अब समझ में आते हैं थोड़ा थोड़ा.